Welcome everybody. Today we're going to talk alternative cycling shoes and answer the deep question of why I like cycling in Crocs. I'm going to share with you guys some alternative shoes I have tried and what it is I'm searching for in the perfect flat pedal gravel bike packing cycling shoe. Why no one has actually come up with it. So first off, let's talk about cycling shoes and some of the issues I have with them. So this is a Bontrager road shoe that I picked up recently for some videos. And one thing that you'll notice is that the shape of the shoe. Whose foot looks like this? So when I'm not biking, I do a lot of trail running, and there's been a big movement in the running community to create foot-shaped shoes. So shoes that actually mimic the shape of one's foot rather than these things which are kind of an industrial designer's idealization of what a shoe or what a foot should look like. So that's the first common problem I have with most cycling shoes, specifically in clipless shoes, but also in flat pedal shoes. Okay, so that is the first issue, is that a lot of cycling shoes are not shaped like your actual feet. This is another cycling specific shoe I've tried, which, I tend to like, but still could be improved. And this is a flat pedal mountain bike shoe. As you can see, in terms of foot shape, it is a little bit better. It does have a nice grippy sole here that works perfect for flat pedals. But my main gripe with most flat pedal mountain bike shoes is that they're really overbuilt. I mean, this shoe alone weighs about 400 grams. It has a lot of padding and it tends to run pretty hot. So I feel like it's in the right direction with the fit shape, but it's generally overbuilt. So let's compare this shoe with a trail running shoe. So again, foot shape, this is by Hoka, has a good amount of support, has a nice engineered mesh on the top here, and putting it on the scale, it weighs 250 grams, so noticeably lighter than this 510. So why not just pedal in trail running shoes? I know that's gonna be the next comment. Couple reasons. This one being a Hoka does have a pretty big stack height, so I'd prefer something a little bit flatter. And also, most trail running shoes have some amount of exposed EVA foam, and that just gets torn up by the traction pins of a bike pedal. So hopefully you can see where I'm heading with this. I'm looking for a minimalish shoe that's shaped like a foot, but is durable enough to withstand a flat pedal. And surprisingly, there are no shoes like that exist, to my knowledge, in the cycling world. So what are the shoes I've tried? Let's start off with the most controversial one, and yes, that is Crocs. On the scale here, it weighs a scant 165 grams. So in terms of shoes being light, this is ultralight. Another great thing about it is that it has a wide toe box, so definitely foot shaped. This one is a zero drop, so super comfortable, light, breathable, and it makes an awesome summer shoe for cycling, especially if you're gonna do lots of off the bike things like fishing or just wading in the water. So lots to like. What are the downsides of this? They tend to have a loose fit, so they're always a little bit sloppy. I sized down in this cycling specific one, and I found over time the rubber actually expands. So over time it's gotten a lot looser. It's on the verge of not being stiff enough to pedal all day. So I do wish there was a little bit more structure. And of course, the biggest downside of cycling in a Croc is that it has a stigma. People just hate them even though they're supremely comfortable, really affordable, super lightweight, all that good stuff. I started riding in them this summer, kind of on a lark as a joke, but I found in that process that I actually really enjoyed them. A big plus is that it does have toe box protection here, so a little bit less paranoid about sticking your toes in the wheel or in the front chainring. And also if you're scrambling off the bike, you're not gonna be stubbing your toe on this guy. But again, not for everyone, but definitely a cycling shoe I would actually consider. So that, of course, led me to check out this alternative cycling shoe. And this one actually is surprisingly by Crocs as well. It's made with that same soft, squishy, comfortable foam, but it is in a sneaker form. And I have to say, this actually looks pretty dang good. However, not without its problems. Whereas the original Croc was nice and foot shaped, they did go for a narrower midfoot here, which is a little bit constricting. The Crocs were zero drop. This one has a noticeable drop, I'd say about 7 or 8 millimeters. So if you're used to minimal trail running shoes, this is definitely more noticeable. Another downside of this is, unlike the clog version, These can actually get pretty hot and sweaty even though it does have venting holes. This part is solid rubber and not like a engineered mesh, so can get hot and sweaty. But it's close, pretty close. I mean, if this was zero drop, a little bit wider, maybe more mesh on the top here, this would be really good. Okay, so the next shoe I tried in my search for the great alternative cycling shoe is this shoe by Chrome. It is the Chrome Truck, so the flat pedal version. There are no SPDs here. Again, this one seemed fairly promising. It had a very minimal looking silhouette. Yes, it's a zero drop. It's got a lightish canvas. However, ultimately, it does succumb to that kind of too narrow of a foot shape for me. I found when I was pedaling in this, my feet, which aren't super wide, would tend to go over the sides of the shoe here. It does have good stiffness, lots of support for you on the pedal. Again, that foot shape, a bit of a bummer. I mean, I could size up to accommodate the width, but then the shoe would start to get too long. And in terms of weight, although this looks like a fairly light summer sneaker, it's actually pretty heavy at 400 grams. So I don't know where all that weight is coming from. Maybe there's a rock plate in here somewhere. Again, a shoe I had high hopes for. Still generally a great cycling shoe, but not my ideal perfect alternative cycling shoe. So lastly, I'm going to talk about these guys. These are Canvas Chukka by the brand Lem. They specialize in mimless zero drop shoes. As you can see, this one's super flexible. On our scales here, a scant 250 grams. So this is 400 grams, this is 250 grams, this is also 400 grams. The things I like about this shoe are, you know, it's lightweight, it's zero drop, and as you can tell here from the shoe profile, it is foot shaped. Shaped like your foot, not like some industrial designer's idea of what your foot should be crammed into. So again, even compared to these guys, a lot more width here, and especially when you compare it to this regular cycling shoe. So I don't know why, you know, the bicycle industry has addressed ergonomics in the handlebar, in the saddle, and I feel like the shoe is the final frontier. No brand, to my knowledge, has really gone after this, you know, foot-shaped cycling shoe design. Love to see it happen. Okay, so back to the Lems. You know, zero drop, very minimal. This is super comfortable on the foot, and I feel it actually breathes a little bit better than either of these options. One downside, however, is that it's a little bit too unstructured. So even though I run and walk in mostly zero drop shoes, when I pedal on these, I do get a pull in my calf. So I wish that there was just a little bit more structure here in the sole. So of all the alternative cycling shoes I've tried, this probably comes the closest to being my ideal alternative cycling shoe. However, again, because of the unstructured nature, I do get calf pain in rides that are over an hour or if there's a lot of climbing. But not in the Crocs, surprisingly. So that is why I pedal a lot in the Crocs. So I wish I could recommend a shoe and say 100% get this one. I did this video more to share my thinking in cycling shoes. I do think that they are kind of the final frontier. We've got flat mountain bike shoes, which are generally pretty good, but they are so overbuilt because they expect you to run into roots and rocks and what have you. I would love to see a gravel or road specific flat pedal shoe shaped like a foot that's very minimal and very light and breathable. No one is doing that on the market. Maybe someone in the industry will see this video and be inspired to create something like that. Who knows? But let me know what your favorite cycling shoes are. I'd love to hear if you have any suggestions. Maybe there's a shoe that exists, I'm just not aware of it. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, keep the supple side down.